Now remember, when things look bad and it looks like you're not gonna make it, then you gotta get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean. Because if you lose your head and you give up, then you neither live nor win. That's just the way it is.
Hello, Radical viewers, and welcome back to another Legends of the West. Today, as the clip might have shown, we're going to do Josey Wales, and I'm almost going to get hit by a carriage. That all said, today we're going to tackle some of Josey Wales' guns. And I say some because the man has like 5. Like, needless to say, we can't do all of them. And hell, we're not even going to be able to accurately do his most common sets. But you know what? We're going to give it the good old school try. And this request comes at Lego Logan 08, actually. So let's start with the Cattleman. Since this is about as close as we can get to the Walker, or the Dragoon, or the Navy, or any of the Colts that he actually uses, sadly, not too accurate, as this is supposed to be. This is a Peacemaker, but we'll make do. Anyway, let's start off, shall we? First things first, we're going to start off with the sights again. Now, much like any other gun I'm going to make, if you want to be true to the gun, you got to remove the improved sight. But that said, I've gotten to the point where it's like, keep it. It may not be as accurate, but this gun's not going to be as accurate no matter what we do to it. Barrel length, we're going to go with the long barrel on this sucker because they're always long. For grips, that's actually a little hard to see in what I'm looking at here. You know what, actually, they're dark enough. I honestly just would go with mahogany. Now, that said, as I said, this man has a plethora of guns, so frankly, this is how you can roll with it. You can dual wield them. You got one with a long barrel, one with a short barrel, as I'm showing here, or you can have both with long barrels. Dealer's choice on that. Now, when it comes to metals, this gets a little interesting, as they're primarily black or blued, with some bronze highlights here and there. Now, while the trigger itself and the hammer are not actually bronze on the gun itself, the trigger guard is. So in order to kind of capture that to some degree, I decided to go with making the trigger and the hammer itself bronze, just to give it some of the highlights. And ignore this silver beauty, as this is going to be in a future video. I had another request, oddly enough, a recent one. But that said, let's go ahead and make another one, just for the sheer kicks of it, huh? So, as usual, we're going to go ahead and bronze out the hammer, the trigger. We're going to go with black and steel for the frame. I decided to go with blue steel for the cylinder and the barrel on this one, for the simple fact that on those old Colt Navies and Armies and Dragoons and all that, for whatever reason, the frame itself, it looks ugly as sin, and I think that's just because they're generally color hard-cased. But the barrels and the cylinders, they shine with a nice little blue tint to them. I'm pretty sure that's just from the old manufacturing process. Or hell, even the new ones lately. I do not know. And of course, I gotta remove the engravings on this sucker, otherwise it's not going to be all too accurate. You could also go with brown steel if you feel that color hard case actually does work, and good old brown color works very well to it. And I believe that's it. Now, of course, all this is up to discretion. Like, the man owns so many different guns, and he uses so many different guns in the film itself, to the point where some of them even change from scene to scene, from cap and ball to cartridge loaders. I noticed as I rewatched the movie. Now, frankly, when it comes to coloring, you can be saved using just about anything. And style, ultimately, that's up to your discretion. But of course, as I recommended, like a little bit of bronze here just to get the accents down on either the trigger or the hammer. Again, you don't necessarily need it on the hammer or the trigger. Or if you want to go even further about that, you can go with full bronze on the frame, as there are some Colt Navy and Army models out there that do just have a completely bronzed frame. But I decided to go with black because I think I've only seen him use the bronze one once out of the several guns he uses. But yeah, that's generally it. It's not a hard build. It's just hard to get accurately in Red Dead Redemption 2. But that said, I think we we might have hit the nail on the head about as best we can on these suckers. Well, yeah, so you know what that means. After I'm done tooling around with this and getting some final verdicts in, I'm gonna go with both long barrels. Hell with it. We gotta go test this sucker out on some nefarious bounty hunters after us. But of course that requires a bounty level, so I'll be right back as I go debate on stabbing a man with this here pirate sword I got. I don't really like the guy at the barber. Now then, let's take a glance at our final product and let's try to compare it to, oh dear sweet lord, any one or all of the guns Clint Eastwood uses in this movie. Now, as I said, we're not going to hit this pinpoint accurately here, but we gave it a pretty solid attempt. And honestly, there's enough variety amongst all the guns he uses that I feel fairly safe in our build here. Like, in all honesty, you can go with a blackened frame or a brown frame, hell, even a bronze frame. As long as the barrel and the cylinder are blued steel, the trigger is bronze itself for the highlight reason, since we can't just do the trigger guard. Hammer, I leave up to dealer's choice on that one. But I think we got some pretty decent representation there. In fact, let's go ahead and see if we can find a picture and throw it up real quick of the guns used in the film. Forget my piss poor editing on this picture here, but that's basically the gun that he uses in the movie. In fact, this is actually a replica made specifically from the guns in the movie. As you can see here, the barrel, the cylinder, yeah, they're a little bit more shinier and blue compared to the frame itself. The trigger guard is in fact bronze, and from this picture it looks like the trigger itself actually has been bronzed. Really odd choice. When it comes to the grips, mahogany, actually pretty damn close. But again, some people have better eye for colors than me, and it'll always look different depending on what you're playing on what settings you're playing on. That's essentially it. That's one of many of Josey Wales' guns. And again, if you decide to just try to go full bore and make every single gun you can a mock-up of Josey Wales' guns, it's basically the same follow-up. You can, as long as the barrel and the cylinder are all blued out and you have some kind of bronze on there for the accents and such, I feel like you're safe. Long or short barrel, dealer's choice. Both long barrels, sure. He only does have one short barrel pocket Colt, I noticed, though, so do bear that in mind if you decide to go for the stream roleplay aspect of it. But that said, I do have another request, and since we're doing Colt walkers and the such, might as well throw him in too. In fact, this is the first request this channel has got on the videos I've been doing. So let's go change our wardrobe real quick to something a little bit more appropriate for it. Why do you work for a living if you kill yourself working? The first request these videos have gotten is actually Tuco from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And sadly this outfit is not that close a representation, but it is the Vaquero, so I felt it fit. And much like Tuco himself, he weaseled his way into this video as well. So let's try to tackle his gun, shall we? Going right from our Josey Wales build, I'm not gonna fool around. This thing is a it's a frankengun basically. He takes parts from so many different walkers and armies and just pieces them together because those guns were so freaking modular. You literally could just take pieces from every single one and put them all together in a mix match. So that's what we're gonna do with this one. Basically, the only thing we're going to do is we're just going to make it look like we pieced this sucker together from a variety of different guns. Oh, Tuco, you silly little SOB. Can't believe you managed to still weasel your way into this video. Not gonna lie, I wasn't even planning on doing this because I couldn't do a walker for crap accurately, but since I did Josey Wales, I figured why not. So there you go. Tuco's gun! Looks like we literally pieced it together from every other gun we could find at the gunsmith. Oh, that is sad. But it works. Oh, my lord. A part of me actually feels bad for the fact I made this. But, again, it's Tuco. And this request came from Spellcaster Luke. Again, the first request the channel got. I'm so sorry that I didn't do a full video on this, but I felt this was also appropriate, because Tuco in the movie, he's a prominent character in it, but more often than not, I felt like he just weaseled his way into most of the situations that he got in with Clint Eastwood's character and Van Cleef's character. In fact, Van Cleef, hell, he wasn't even in that movie that much, but even I felt like he was a little bit more prominent despite less screen time. Anyway, that's all I got for today, guys, and I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, be sure to support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And by all means, as I will show in the comments first and foremost with my first pinned message, by all means, leave a comment, make a request. I will do my best to make whatever the heck I can. Even if it's a frankengun like this sucker. Oh dear sweet lord, I feel dirty just looking at this thing. Anyway, once again, thank you all for watching. Till next time, kids. Take care now. Bye-bye then.